thought I'd do something a bit different on this video and give a running commentary of the first Night Rain mission. Now, I've been playing Night Rain quite a lot. I started a new character for this video because I wanted to see how it was like without any relics and stuff like that. So we're going in as a noob with no relics, and I should mention that I'm doing this solo. The reason I'm doing this is the game's been out for quite a while now, and there might be some new people who are having trouble with the matchmaking, maybe. I know on some platforms it's less active than others, so the only option you have is to do it solo. Now, the first thing you should know about Night Rain is there's a big difference between level 1 and level 2. So what we're doing here is we're just clearing the first camp, picking up all the stuff. I do tend to just pick up as much as I can. Being solo, you don't have to worry about sharing stuff with your teammates. And if you're lucky, like we are here, we can get a stone sword key. But it's quite rare that you'll land at one of these camps. Sometimes you'll come across them in your runs, they're not marked on the map. There's these two kind of caravans, you're always going to get a stone sword key. Or, I think it's always. Either way, there's a very high chance. And we're just going to run over and grab this grace. Well, not really grab it, but just quickly level up to level 2. And head over to this cathedral. Now, the cathedrals are a good starting point after you've cleared the first little camp. The other thing I need to mention is sometimes you land in a church, which is great because you get an extra heal straight away. But the downside of that is there's only 2 rats in there and you don't get enough runes to level up. So it's worth just killing a couple of mobs nearby and leveling up to 2 before you try a cathedral or one of the little forts. That's what I'd recommend, a cathedral or little forts. Now, with these cathedrals, you either have a boss upstairs, which is the guardian golems, one of them, or the little bubble boys, the oracle envoys, or like this one, it's down the little hole that you fall down, mausoleum knight. And also I picked up another stone sword key on the altar. Now, for most of these, say the best chance is in the chest behind the altar there. But for the bubble boys, the oracle envoys, it's actually upstairs. I don't do that in this video, but if you go upstairs, there's one right near the top with another 3 oracle envoys next to it. I tend to run past it whilst opening it and then run back to get it, so I don't have to fight any of them. So this boss is pretty easy. Don't forget to use the hook. The hook's really good. The skill on Wylder. I should mention that Wylder's a very good class to play solo because it's a pretty strong class. It's not the strongest, but it's very flexible, and you don't really have to worry about what weapons you get because you can use pretty much anything. Now, I am moving down the map. It's kind of best to move in a curve around the map because the map's kind of circular. And I'm just taking this bird. The birds are worth taking. You do travel a lot faster when you're on the eagle. And then I'm just going to drop down into the Everjail. That's it. I'm going to drop down into the Everjail and fight whatever boss is in there. At level 3 you'd think that Drunken Soldier's a bit much, but they're really not too bad. They can be a bit annoying. But as you saw there, the fully charged ultimate attack that Wylder has will stagger them. And you find that in solo it will stagger most bosses. So we start off strong with a big stagger and a big riposte. And then the other thing is, if you, like me, if you've got 2 of the same, if you've got 2 great swords, the jumping L1 attacks actually do quite a lot. You know, they do decent damage and they do a fair bit of stance damage as well, although I don't get a stance break on this, unfortunately. But yeah, we just kind of stick to his legs and get some hits in where we can. I try and dodge the follow-up from that attack, but I dodged a bit too early. But it doesn't matter. I've got plenty of time to heal and get smacked again. But yeah, it's not too bad. I'm not doing amazing damage, but it'll be worth it. And you just kind of get used to these guys, really. Like the night boss version of this is much worse, but this Evergel version isn't too bad. And as you can see, because it's quite early on, it's only got half health anyway. So that's that. We've killed Dragonkin Soldier, and we're rewarded with 20k runes. For some other builds, some other characters, just having a quick look at the map here, by the way, just, always making sure we know what we're doing. We've got plenty of time to grab a heal from this church. But yeah, I was saying FP recovery on successive attacks is possibly better on something like Duchess, where casting spells is quite strong, but you don't have a way automatically to get FP back. You need to use Starlight Shards, etc. Just going to grab the flask and have a quick look for goodies. Just going to eat some of the boluses. You do that by pressing triangle or Y, and holding triangle or Y and pressing up on the D-pad. It's just quicker than going in the inventory. And for everyone you eat, it stacks. You get more resistance. And now I'm going to head for the castle in the middle, which is a very good place. I like to go there day one. I mean, we're a little bit ahead in terms of levels. Level 6 is pretty good. That's because we got 20k runes plus whatever runes dropped naturally from the Dragonkin Soldier. And just going to have a look and see what the merchant is selling, because this boss that we're coming up against, the first night boss, which is always Tricephalos, we ideally want a holy weapon. So he's got the tree spear, which is it's a pretty decent holy weapon, but we haven't got money for it at the moment. So, but we're just going to keep that in the back of our mind and know that if we don't find anything else, then that is an option. Now the Crucible Knights are the best thing to have in the middle here. They're not too bad to kill. I mean, they do take a little while, but they drop a lot of runes, and with a bit of practice, parrying them is fairly easy. The Wylder starts with a shield with buckler parry, which is one of the best parries in the game. So yeah, and you can kind of get them into a bit of a loop like I've got here. So you get them down, and then yeah, he does the jump attack. You just jump over. Sorry, the stomp. And I used to roll through the stomp, but it's a lot easier to jump over it, and it doesn't mess your positioning up as much as a roll. So just jump and then parry. Sometimes I get an R1 in afterwards. I think I do one here, yeah. And then that sets you up for another parry. So that one's dead. I'm going to, again, take more boluses. Think about picking that up, decide against it, and then go the wrong way. Now we're right on the edge of the fire here, so we need to be a little bit careful, but the fire in day 1 isn't that bad. Day 2 is a different matter. Now we're gonna kill another Crucible Knight, this one that's aggroed, and again the spears, very parryable. We're just gonna, I'm using the fire grease that we picked up. The grease is good. These guys are weak against fire, so the grease is going to help us a bit. I did use it on the other one as well. I'm quite bad at these games, at hoarding. I'm quite bad at hoarding in these games. But using the greases and giving yourself a bit of a boost, it has more of an impact in the early game, really, because your levels are lower. So this is going to really help. Sadly, the grease is worn out now, but we've done about half his health, and we've got it into a nice loop. I'm just every now and then unlocking and checking what that other knight in the background's doing, because I don't want him to join this party. It's just the two of us at the moment. And yeah, here I make a mistake. Like I shouldn't have done the ult then, because it just did nothing. That was a wasted ult. But you know, it doesn't really matter. It would have been nice to have got the ult and then you know, mess up a couple of parries, but it doesn't really matter. Just readjust and then yeah, completely just stand there while he does his grab attack. But it's fine. I've got enough health. Just don't, you know, you get in situations, just try and stay calm, do a quick heal off the bush, and back into the parry loop. And I think I just finish him off here with a couple of R1s. And then the other one gets involved a little quicker than I would have liked, but it's okay. We'll just start on them. Now this is where the ult would have come in handy, because as you see, the fire is about to come in. So I don't actually end up killing this guy, so there's a little bit of wasted time here. Because we're right near the edge of the fire, we won't have much time when it starts coming in. So to recap, for day 1 so far, we've cleared out the first camp that we landed at. We've got to level 1. Sorry, we got to level 2 straight away. Then we did a cathedral. Other options are the forts, which I'll do in another video. And then we've moved straight into the castle, and we've not bothered about any of the bosses in the castle. We're just killing the mobs, but they're quite strong mobs here. And then I've just grabbed an affinity power, so when we get our holy weapon online, we're going to do more holy damage. So the circle's going into the top left now, and we're just going to make sure we go past the grace. There was actually a better one to go for here, but it doesn't really matter. And then we're just going to go straight to the well, we're going to go slight diversion to the fight, to the night 1 end of day boss. And we're just going to go up here. There's this big kind of cliff up here, and there's always a boss up here. So we're just checking out, and you can see just on the right there that it was a Blackblade Kindred. Sometimes if it's like an Elder Lion or something, you can get it killed, especially if you've got your ult, you can get it killed pretty quick and get an extra boss in before day 1. Sometimes if it's a stronger boss but a more enticing one than a Blackblade Kindred, then I mean, if you're raid, a Blackblade Kindred's probably alright. They're weak to strike, or if you're a Wylder with a strike weapon for that matter. But for this setup, we're just going to leave that well alone, and we just go straight to the boss fight. We're just going to check. Sometimes you get good stuff here. I grab a Bewitching Branch, which for certain boss fights is really, really good. I don't think we end up using it in this run, but yeah, and then I decide against the sleep pot and just wait for the mobs to come in. Can be, you know, can feel like you're wasting time here, but you know, it's not too bad. You know, sometimes there's stuff you can do on the way, but there wasn't really in this one. And now we've got the mobs. You always get mobs before the end of day boss. I missed a big jump attack there, but it doesn't really matter. Getting some good charges in. I've forgotten to, you know, I mean, there we go. I was in Black Knight mode, and now I've switched back to using the dual wielded great swords, and I'm getting some good damage in there. So good I didn't even realise that it killed the guy. And then we get these two in one hit. And quickly grab these spirits. I mean, they're not amazing, these, but it's free damage. We've killed the mobs a little bit early, and then the boss has now spawned in. Swordmaster Ons can be... Well, he's not called Ons, is he, in this? But yeah, Demi-Human Swordmaster can be a bit of a nightmare, so I go for him first. Again, I use that guaranteed stagger from the ult. And get him pretty low, but then have a little bit of an incident because they're both going after me now. And then I tried to kill him with the grappling hook, but it just shot me across the map instead, which is a bit annoying. And it's getting a bit annoying now, but yeah, there we go. We've got Ons dead. The rest of it should be fairly straightforward. Down to 1 heal. And yeah, just getting the jump L1's in, not L2. Or LB if you're in Xbox land. Nothing complicated about this boss. I just try and ignore the mobs. That they are a bit annoying, but they will kind of respawn if you kill them, and they'll die when the boss dies. So there's not a lot of point in going for them. Get a nice stagger, big riposte, and a couple more jumping L1s should do it. Although I'm getting a little bit ganked by these little guys. And there we go. So that's day 1 done. Day 1, night 1. Now, blood loss is really good, but we're not planning on running any blood loss in this, so I go for the violent Rain of Stars, which again, it's not great, but it's better than some of the other ones. And I know that there's a Everjail right next to where we've ended up, and then I've just marked on the map where I want to go after that. Just so I don't forget, and then I need to heal up because I'm still in the fire, and we're all good to go. Everjail 2 is a Crucible Knight, so we know how to deal with them, that's fine. Just parry, cost, repeat. There's not a lot to this fight. They don't seem to go to second phase if you get them in this loop, which is really handy. I'm pretty sure this one doesn't get to go to second phase, so just jump, parry, riposte. If you've got enough stamina, get an R1 in, and then jump, riposte. Oh, sorry, parry, riposte. And we basically do this. We do most of this fight hitless, which is nice. I think we might have took a hit at the start, possibly. But yeah. We definitely... Oh no, we can take a hit near the end as well. But yeah, it's fine. And that's another Everjail done. I think this one gives 20k? Yes. And again, it's given us the same options as before. 20k runes or the FP recovery. And so we take 20k runes and just head over to the bird. Like, if you're travelling any distance at all, and there is a bird that goes just take the bird. It's not always going to be a bird going where you want to go, which is kind of an annoying thing. Sometimes the double bird works, but yeah, I mean, generally you don't want to be spending much time when you're not killing stuff. So like little mobs might be a little bit pointless, but it all adds up, and these 4 are very quick to kill. So I do tend to kill stuff while I'm running about. And then there's the bird we're going to take, well, the tree that will summon the bird, and I have a quick look around and see it's a grafted scion. I think, you know what, level 10 grafted scion's not so bad. Took me a couple of seconds to make my mind up, and then it did this annoying thing where it teleported, but, you know, not too bad, just took a little bit of damage, and then we get to do our ult, and then I forget again that I've been fighting a Crucible Knight, and switch back to the sword in my offhand and get some jump attacks in. The scream, I saw that coming, but it was too late to do anything about it. It's a little bit annoying, but yeah, get another good stagger, good riposte, and then repeat. This can go a bit wrong, this boss, but it's generally one of the weaker ones. The scream is pretty nasty, but again, at level 10 it's not so bad. And then that should do it. There we go, it's dead. And now this drops me behind fairly good weapon, the Sacred Grave Scythe, which, like I said at the start, we want a weapon with holy damage. This is such a weapon. It is a blue weapon though, and so we'll want to get that upgraded if we're going to use it in the final fight. So the way the weapon levels work is there's 4 levels of weapon. So white is what your starting weapon is, and so they're common weapons. Blue, you see they have like a blue back border around like the weapon in my right hand at the moment. They are uncommon, you need to be level 3 to use them, which is another reason why we do the little, either the little fort or the cathedral at the start is to get us to level 3. And then level 5, the next ones are purple, and you need to be level 7 for them. And you need a smithing stone 1 to go from white to blue. So you don't use them very often, and the guy at the end also sells those. All the merchants sell those. You need a smithing stone 2 to go from blue to purple. And then there are the gold legendary weapons, which either you get as gold when you pick them up, or you can, in some situations, some very specific special situations, you can upgrade a weapon to gold, but generally you can only upgrade to purple. But purple is more than enough, really. Purple's fine. I've beaten night bosses with blue in extreme circumstances, but purple is what you want, really. So yeah, we've just run into a tunnel. There's 3 tunnels, and all of them have an enemy which isn't marked as a boss, but when you kill them, you get a smithing stone 2. Now that one was a pumpkinhead. Pumpkinheads aren't too bad. The other 2 are a knight and a troll. And sometimes I go out the way I came, but this time we carry on going through, and then we pick up another sacred weapon, the hook claws. These are a white weapon, so we'll need to upgrade them twice if we are going to use them. But we pick them up just in case. Now we're heading for another church, which happens to be bang in the middle of where the fire's not going to be. So the play area for the rest of day 2. So that's got us up to 6 heals. I'd normally get... I'd prioritise getting to 5. 6 is fine. 6 is good. 5's fine. But like, it just happened to be on the way. I wouldn't go really far out of my way to get a heal unless like I had no other option, basically. Like, ideally I'd like to get to 4 or 5 on the first day, but you know, sometimes it just doesn't work out like that. So getting to 4 or 5 is great. Getting to 6 even better, but don't sweat it. I think a lot of people, they go out of their way a bit too much to get the flasks, and they waste a lot of time. So now we're doing a slight time waste thing, but it's not super bad. But I can't remember why I did this. I think it was just kind of on the way to the field boss on the hill. Yeah, so... Oh no, I remember why I did this. It's because I wanted to upgrade this scythe. Because I wanted to... You know, it's quite a solid weapon. It's got bleed, it's got holy damage. The moveset's okay. So I wanted to upgrade it, and there's a merchant and a smithing table, which I'm now heading for. And I thought, well, I'm doing that. It's a fairly quick boss to kill, so I might as well kill the boss. So now I have a purple weapon, and now I'm going to buy a pouch and a Wending Grace. I always do this on day 2, or, well, I always mean to do this on day 2. Occasionally I forget. I also bought Smithing Stone 1 and upgraded those hook claws to blue, just in case I decide the scythe's not it. And then I mess up the jump onto this guy. Not so bad, you know, level 10, they're not doing a lot of damage to me. And then they just shoot off, and then I can do the double jump up the back. Yeah, so for these chariots, you can just jump onto them and R1, and you do that attack, and then you need to run away because they will explode. And then just have a look at this. Nothing really, but increased maximum FP, not going to hurt. So I don't bother going for the Grace here because, you know, I've got all my heals and I've got most of my health. And I'm going to fight the field boss, which I did actually see earlier. It's a... forgotten what they're called. I've forgotten what these are called. Ulcerated Tree Spirit. Yeah. So now we go and fight the Ulcerated Tree Spirit. Start off like I do with many fights with the ultimate attack, or the art, or whatever the term is in this game. And yeah, just get them riposte in, and then get some jumping attacks and some R1s, because I wanna build that bleed up if I can, and then I'll get smacked a bit. Does the same attack again, managed to not get smacked this time. I'm not doing badly, but it's, yeah, I have done better before. That's fairly annoying when he does that one when you're far away, because if you're close enough to him, you can get kind of under him, and then even more annoying, I get the stagger while he's in an awkward position and miss the riposte. And then he does the big explosion thing, which is best running away from, as I did. And unlocking, yeah, and then he tries to grab me, and I do a little flip. You get that animation when you do a perfect dodge, basically, and it's worth doing if you can. He's going to do it again, and then I get it again. If you look at my ult meter, it's come up really quickly now, and you get a huge chunk that gets filled, and then another stagger. It's all looking pretty good, although my health's a bit low. And no, heal up. We're getting there, we're chipping away. And the rain's coming in quite handy, and then I try and run away from this and clip it and then die. Which is annoying, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's the first time I've gone down this run. And, you know, we spawn fairly close. The most annoying thing in this game is when you die and you spawn far away, especially if it's somewhere where you're not that familiar. And it's also annoying when there's certain mobs will pick up your runes, like in a Bloodborne style, and then you have to kill them, and some of them can be quite tough, especially when you're panicking. But yeah, it only takes a few more hits now to get this guy down. I think I get frustrated. No, I do keep hitting him. Don't waste the ult. And he's down. So as you see, I've lost a level. I've gone down to level 10, but I've also picked up enough runes to get back to level 11. And the boss has dropped the Ordovis's Greatsword, which is a fantastic weapon for this boss. So I picked it up straight away. It's a great sword, which Wylder's good with, and it's also does holy damage. And now I make a very big mistake. I really, I'm level 12, which is a good level, to be honest, and I should have just stuck with being level 12 instead of getting greedy and trying to do a camp with Wormface. Wormface is quite weak, but I think the problem with that is I got a bit of hubris, and I thought, oh, this is going to be easy. Doing a fair bit of damage, get a nice stagger, almost kill him, and then I try and style it and get grabbed, and that was just so stupid because this insta-kills me. And then, you know how I mentioned earlier about mobs picking up your runes? Well, yeah, that was a bit of foreshadowing, because that's exactly what happens here. And then I panic. I've lost level down to level 11, but I've got enough runes to get to 12. That's sitting up that hill, scrambling up to get it as the fire comes in. Like, I mean, going back wasn't a terrible idea, but going there, I shouldn't have gone there in the first place. And then I think, oh, I'll just use my ult to get my runes back. And it doesn't get my runes back, and then I get grabbed. And the fire's coming in, it's pretty bad. The grab doesn't kill me this time, but I am now taking fairly severe tick damage from the fire, from the fire, and then I get deflated. So those runes gone forever. And at this point, I'm going to be totally honest, I thought the run was dead, and I was very annoyed with myself for making such a ridiculously stupid error. So now it's dumped me out by the second night boss. And I'm level 11, although I do have 6 heals. And I've got a really good sword, so, you know, it's not the end of the world. And we've got some annoying mobs to take care of. And I nearly, like, these pages are an absolute menace. And look at it, like, I very nearly died to it. And that would have been not catastrophic, but it really wouldn't have been ideal. That probably would have been the end of the run. So the losing a level on death is pretty harsh, but it's not as harsh as it first sounds. As well as the runes you had on you when you went down, it also has the runes to get to the next level. So that's quite fair, really. And you can only lose 1 level. So if I died now, I'd still be level 11. I wanted to start with an ult, but I didn't realise my ult was not charged, so I missed out on getting rid of at least one of the cavalrymen, because that's kind of a guaranteed kill, because you'll knock them off the horse and you do the riposte and it kills them. The important thing with this fight is, I found, especially solo, is to focus on the tree sentinel. The other two will mainly stay back, so you can pretty much ignore them. And focus on the tree sentinel because he's not going to ignore you. Get some charge attacks in. I'm just doing some tap L2s, which do a lot of damage, but you know they do leave me quite vulnerable. And yeah, the only time you want to worry about the other two is when he does that kind of big rear up and they charge at you. But yeah, not too bad. We've used 2 flasks, but I don't think we use any more in this fight. And these two, they're pretty simple, really. They don't really gang up on you, and then yeah, just knock them off the horse, riposte, and then repeat with this guy. They're both the same. They have the same move set. I do the R2 a little bit early there, so I miss, but we'll get the next one. R2s on this sword are really good against these guys. Almost unlock them. Jumping R2 just quickly finish them. And that's it, that's night 2 done. And we're heading for the final boss. Well, the night boss. I choose the improved affinity attack power, or do I? No, because I knew we already had one of those. Although that one's stronger, I decided against it and went for stamina recovery, which is quite an important one. You don't want to be running out of stamina. So I move my items around a little, get rid of the Britching Branch because it's going to be no use in this fight. I always start this bit by buying the Wending Grace because I think that's worth more than a potential level, and then I level as much as I can. So we got to level 12 in the end. We would have been at least 13 if I hadn't messed up. But 12 is fine. A lot of people get stressed about it. I've beaten bosses at lower levels. Obviously it's easier if you're higher level, but I think 12 and above is absolutely fine. 12's fairly comfortable. I've been holding on to this aromatic the whole time. I don't know how much good it does me, but I'm going to use it now, as well as an exalted flesh and a boiled crab, and that's it for buffs for this fight. I'm going to save my ult for a bit. And yeah, I find it best for these. To be fair, like this fight's a bit annoying solo, so I haven't done it that many times. It's the thing with Night Rain that I sometimes forget is, you know, obviously there's time pressure in Night Rain during the days when you're running around doing stuff in the days, but when you're fighting the night bosses, so the end of the 2 days and the end, you know, this boss, there is no time limit, so just try to not rush it. So, you know, rushing makes you make mistakes. So yeah, I'm getting some tap L2s in. The Ash War on this is very good, especially enemies weak to holy. I try and get a jump attack in there, which was a bad idea, but not the worst. I lose some health, and now this phase is really painful when you're solo. My best advice is to not do what I did there and try attacking, but to actually just run away effectively and try and keep. Definitely unlocking's a good idea, like I've done now, and try and keep all 3 of them in your view. But that I know that's easier said than done. I don't do it the whole time here. But you'll see that we kind of stagger them with the holy. So it's worth doing that if you can. I get quite lucky there. That triggers the... and then my luck ends. But it's fine. You get a free revive when you're playing solo. And also I bought 2 Wending Graces, so we can go down another 2 times if we need to. And then, yeah, it's just a case of dodging and responding. That big chain one can be a bit annoying, but we managed to get through. I did go for a jump attack there, but changed my mind, so just did a little jump. It's fine to do that, rather than committing to a jump attack that you know you're going to miss. And then yeah, it's fairly simple. And then I just get a bit bored and decide to use the it's a bit of extra damage. That's done with the riposte. That's done a big chunk of damage. Now they do a grab attack, which is fairly easy to dodge. And now they're going to split again, and then this time I think I do a bit more running away. So it just takes a bit of patience, this. And you can get the odd attack in there, but yeah, well, I say that, but then I went down. So yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult, but it's still not too bad. There's one behind me. There it goes. And I got... see, we've got a bit of a debuff on them. You see on their health bar. Below the health bar, there's the attack and defense are both down, and that's because of the holy. There you go. When you do enough holy damage, they kind of get in a debuff state. So it's just a case of keeping them behind me, really, and running away. Down to 1 heal now, and they've gone back together, which is good. And they're just going to lunge at me, and I'm going to do a little jump attack, and that's not quite enough. But there we go. So I think we had, I'll show it, yep, we had 1 Wending Grace left. We had 1 heal left, and we ended up not using either of the weapons that we upgraded. But, you know, you never know. Had a lot of stuff stacked up, so no relics, because that was our first game. So I hope that shows you how... although running solo isn't easy, it's not horrendously difficult, and you know, you don't have to get too stressed about what level you're at. Level 12 is fine. 15 would be amazing, but I find on solo runs I don't really get to 15 unless I get a lot of, you know, easy runes, like maybe a lot of gold pickle foul fleet, which we didn't pick up at all in this one, or, you know, other such treats. There's an invasion event you can get, which gets you a lot of runes. But yeah, I hope someone finds that helpful. And next time I'll be doing the next run, which will be a different boss, and we'll have the crater event. See you next time.